Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. Let's meet the team for our show. First of all, Diann, Floyd, Boehm, my co-host, welcome. And our expert correspondents, Helena, Ian, and Simon. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hey there.
Nice to see you. Helen, I was looking for you. I'm like, where's she's right there, right next to Diann. I love three ladies at the top. Very nice.
Ooh, as it should be. No, just
I was just going to say, isn't it always the way?
The way forward.
I make no comment.
Well, I just want to share once again publicly how grateful I am to each and every one of you, and also a special thanks to Helena and Ian for interviewing me yesterday on your show. That was a true delight, and I found myself very comfortable, but at the same time, I was just a little emotional too, because it was sort of like a family reunion.
Oh, and it was good. It was good. It was a good show yesterday, and I just thought it was one of the best shows we've done in a while. So and everything went to plan, because normally you can get gremlins, in the system, and it's like everything went to plan so well yesterday. Even I managed to get a word in edgeways. So
it's so true. I always feel like if I get through a show and there is no technology issues, it's truly a blessing, because anything can happen.
Absolutely. And I mean, the number of times when these things do happen, on TV shows, and, I've had countless times when, or a station has brought me in too early, and so something has happened. So you learn after a while to panic from the waist down, but be like a swan from the waist up, hoping that everything is going to go to plan in the end.
Very true. Very true. Good analogy.
That is such a picture.
I know.
Yes, I don't think we should really go there somehow.
No, probably quite not the right analogy, but you get the gist.
Well, I think especially at times like this, it's good to have some laughs, right? It's good to just.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yes.
And on the whole, things go to plan, don't they? Very little goes wrong, I think.
Well, we still So I do have a question for you before we get into the news and what's going on around the world. We interviewed someone on Friday, and she is a broadcaster for CBS, which is a network station. And I asked her, what is the future of television? Because, she's on the network, and here we're live streaming. And I know Ian and Helena, Simon, I think we've discussed it a little bit before, but she said the future is absolutely a combination of both, and that streaming is only increasing in terms of availability and people's desire for streaming platforms. So I'm just going to go around. Who wants to start first?
Well, I agree. I think we've discussed it before, haven't we? And I just think it's great to be able to tune into something when you want to, rather than trying to catch it. Because personally, me, when it's mainstream TV, I tend to watch it on catch up anyway, because I choose my time. So it definitely is the way forward, I would say.
Excellent. Anyone else want to comment? Ian?
Yeah, I think for me, I was watching a program recently that it's a very effective method of broadcasting for the life of me, I can't remember the name for a second. It's in Los Angeles. It's an OTT setup where a guy who was one of the forerunners of Discovery Channel, he sold his stake in Discovery Channel for 500 million a few years ago, and then got asked by someone in Los Angeles to create a new OTT system that would become the OTT channel, #1 OTT channel for Los Angeles, which he duly did. But he made some provisos to it. One was that they couldn't use any, or the people who produced the shows couldn't use any professional help. They had to learn how to do it. And secondly, he was really sort of saying that niche TV is really the future. And so this was on a YouTube channel. And then he pulls out of his just talking head, and he pulls into a Zoom call situation. And there's about 30 of them on Zoom who have followed this trend and who have followed his lead on niche TV channels. And he points up the way and he says to this lady, he said, "What's the name of your TV channel?" And she said, "It's called Barbecue." And so his proviso was that in the future, with things like Google, whenever you make a search, on the top left-hand corner comes up the number of other people who have done that search as well. And so he is saying that one of the biggest methods now of creating television in the future is to look at the numbers that Google or your subject represents, and then focus in on your subject. So hence niche marketing, niche television. And so he points up line, and she said it's called Barbecue TV. And he said, "What was the number?" And she said there was something like about 18 million people across the world look for anything to do with barbecues. He points down the way at someone else, and "What's your channel called?" And he said it's called Broken Typewriters. And Broken Typewriters, this guy said, and what's the search on that? He said 450,000.
Wow.
Now we're looking at something at the moment which is going to be a new fashion pageant operation as well. And so globally, the figure for people searching globally on pageants, which is beauty pageants, which is something we're looking at the moment, is 80 million. And so it's becoming a numbers game. So I think for me and Helena and the others who we're working with on the subject, niche TV, I think, is going to be one of the biggest ways forward. So what you're actually doing, Dr. Jacalyn, with all of us as well, is that you're actually following that trend of niche marketing and niche television. And I think that is going to be the big future.
That's fascinating. So I'm wondering if we should change USA Global TV to maybe Broken Hearts or something.
Meat and two veg. I mean,
you'd have a lot of people probably not as happy as us.
Well, something on that topic. So Helena and Ian, you're actually in a studio and people can come in the studio. You can actually meet with them personally. And I think, Simon, you've been interviewed in person as well, haven't you?
No, I haven't been down to London, sure, for a long time.
No, I'm saying, but in person, you've been interviewed in person, right? Somewhere?
Oh, frequently, frequently on all the mainstream channels here, and cooking on morning television and so on, and doing it live. Oh boy, have we had all the fun. I'm just thinking of all the bloopers and the odd time when I've seen some coming back again to haunt me. But no, and what we were saying there, the roots hark back to the great three Scottish inventions, which was television, telephone, and telewoman. And it has evolved enormously, and it's galloping now, as is all technology. I mean, if you go in and buy a new iPad or a new phone or whatever, then a month later it's obsolete and the next one's out and it's doing so much more. I mean, our technology really is going at a colossal rate just now. It's quite exciting, but I think you're right. The future is going to be in the niche because people, we've had our day of being tied to the television schedule. Such and such a program you like is only on about 7:30, and that's it. Now you can start to binge watch through whole series of favorite programs at whatever time, day or night you like, and it's definitely the way forward.
Awesome, we're in the right place.
And speaking about binging, then you go like me and you binge, and then you binge for a whole week, and you're like, wait a minute, they can't take a vacation. I have to see what happens next. How dare they?
But isn't it so frustrating when you're binge watching through a series and it comes to the end of that particular series, and then a notice flashes up on the screen, next series will be completed next year, and you think, oh no, just at that crucial point.
Right. But that's how niche that Ian you spoke of. I mean, you could see it coming because YouTube, if you look at how many people are watching them, and the fact that YouTube has almost every television show I ever watched when I was a little girl. And I was showing different people, you want to watch Leave It to Beaver, bring it up. If you want to watch Wagon Train, bring it up. And it's really quite fun. And I think YouTube really led that way into seeing even what people were watching from a long, long time ago. And I remember when NASA invited some of us teachers, they were putting up a new education satellite in the 90s. And we had to do just what you were saying, Ian. Which of these particular topics, which would you have? And they were collecting what was more important, what would people watch, and it's really fun to see where it's all going. Thank you for sharing that knowledge.
So it's actually here, isn't it? Niche TV is here. It's not the future.
Yeah.
We're here, yes.
I think the with YouTube, as you were saying, I was sat waiting for someone the other day and just minding my own business, and then the next thing I know, at the next table for me, people from television sat down, and I'm thinking, oh God, no, because I'm doing something that I don't want anyone else to hear about right now. And right next to me, and this guy, very young guy, probably in his early 20s, he started up his own YouTube platform 4 years ago. He's now had 40 million hits or subscribers now onto his YouTube channel. And he's turning over a six-figure sum each year with it at the same time. And so he's constantly looking for more content, for more people to work with him at the same time to boost this even further. So I think, I don't think I can binge watch. It's just not me. I prefer to wait till the next week, and it's something to look forward to, rather than just sort of, it's only me. I'm very old-fashioned, and so there's a particular series that I'm watching at the moment on a Sunday night. So don't ever call me between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, because I won't answer the phone.
I'm just making notes when to call you in.
I'm going to call him then too, for sure.
I happen to guess, is that All Creatures Great and Small? They only are on Sunday nights.
No, I love detective stories, but I also love spy thrillers as well. And so so it's the name of the program escapes me. It just shows you how it's imprinted on my brain. But Michael Caine did the original as a movie, and they've now brought in this young Michael Caine lookalike to do the TV series, and every single Sunday night, I'm off goes everything else, and I'm just focused for 1 hour, because if you miss some of it, that's it, because it is so intricate, the whole story, that if you miss a bit of it, then you've lost it for good and all. So it's one of those programs. But the other one I used to love it, and I know it's now on where you can see them all together, but it's Killing Eve, and I absolutely adored that. But the latest series, I think, was only on so you could actually see it all in one go, and I think it spoilt it, because I just look forward. I'm a routine person, I'm old-fashioned. I'm a routine person. I do everything, the same times most days, and I feel happier for it.
Yeah, well, you better switch your phone off on a Sunday evening now, because
we're all calling you. Everyone's calling in on Sunday. No kidding. I know we've got a lot of news to get to, don't we, Helena?
We've got various tidbits. I mean, something that I didn't realise, in fact, is today is Marie Curie's National Day of Reflection, which is interesting, and it's every single year. So Marie Curie supports those who have received a terminal diagnosis, but basically in partnership with lots of other organisations as well. This special day today, it offers the opportunity to reflect, connect and support people who have bereaved people over the last 2 years. So it's not just COVID, it's various other things. Obviously, as you know, the NHS has been impacted, people have passed away due to cancer and various things, but it's a positive thing because you can reflect and remember all your loved ones. So there's lots of things happening, lots of events happening today. There are lots of online events. There was a big speech and memorial at midday today. And it's just simple things. It may be just even sitting around a dinner table and just eating and chatting and remembering. So it's a really, really special day. We do have the actual official Marie Curie video as well. So it may be lovely to play it because it highlights exactly really what it's about. And I think it's lovely as well because I think after these last few years, things have changed. And I think it's interesting to think, what have we learned? How have things changed over these couple of years? And so should we play it? Let's roll it.
On March the 23rd, 2022, we're coming back together to connect, to reflect, and to remember the family, friends, neighbours and colleagues we've lost.
We will now hold 1 minute of silence.
Tonight, candles were lit on doorsteps across the UK to remember all the lives that have been lost.
I lost my fiancé, Jim, to COVID in May 2020. Not long after that, I'd set up a support group in Scotland. The reason we wanted to be a part of this was to just remember everybody that's died throughout this pandemic. It shows a bit of support for everyone that has lost someone.
As a nurse, I'd encourage every health worker to take part in the National Day of Reflection. It's about remembering those who we've lost, and it's about reflecting on the last 2 years of what we've achieved, the nursing care that we've provided to lots of families and loved ones.
We work with people over the age of 50 plus. Many of these people had lost people close to them. They'd been left devastated by the loss, but also severely isolated and lonely. So it's really important to us that we come together and show some unity to connect, to support and be there for each other.
I was inspired to take part in the National Day of Reflection in honour of my parents whom I lost to COVID. Sadly, they passed away just 12 hours apart from each other. No one has been able to grieve in the way that they normally would. We were unable to meet friends or family. There was restrictions on funeral numbers. For our colleagues, the National Day of Reflection allowed them to feel that they were not alone.
Whatever your background, whatever your beliefs, and whatever you've been through these past 2 years, please join us for the 2022 National Day of Reflection.
That's lovely, isn't it? It's impactful, and it's always good. We're very good at our days over here. It's a national day, and but I think it's important because it just focuses your mind, doesn't it? And also, it's just a simple phone call to somebody to say hi, and because people have lost people, and it's a chat, it brings up conversation, good for well-being. So I hadn't realised it suddenly was on us, and then all of a sudden it's today. So that was lovely to learn. So I hope you enjoyed that.
I think it's very important as well, because bringing up Helena's point, because in reality, because of COVID and so many people who were facing perhaps the start of some debilitating disease like cancer weren't going to hospitals. They weren't going to doctors or anything at all at that time. And so all of a sudden, we've now been hit by quite a large spike in Britain with health challenges that have become more severe because people didn't go to hospitals, didn't go to doctors earlier. So this day of reflection, I think, as well, is very, very important at the same time, that because now part of we just had a financial situation today in the Houses of Parliament, and part of that is to recognise, to actually pay for the backlog and the amount of people who will now be receiving treatment, more treatment, because they weren't treated properly in the first place.
That's such a good point, and I'm so excited to hear this National Day, because on many levels, so many people we've lost around the world. So I hope more people learn about it, and I'll certainly put it up on my social media. But also people like my mom, just like you said, Ian, she couldn't go to the hospital, and though she didn't have COVID, but the fact that she wasn't able to go, and when she did go 2 times, she was turned away because she didn't have COVID, and in the end she died. And so there's a lot of people, because of COVID, in their circumstances, we've lost them. And I don't want years from now people who don't even think about COVID. I want people to remember, so that if we have to ever go through this again, that there's not this, oh, I'm not going to wear a mask thing. Like, we're all together. We need to help. What do y'all think?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I mean, even I personally now, I'm still wearing masks on most occasions. A lot of people aren't anymore. But with that, we're seeing, especially in London, we're seeing a huge spike in the number of COVID cases again. And even, poor Helena here, going through it. And she's probably the most ultra cautious person you can meet as well.
Yeah, it just shows how rife it is. I think in Scotland as well. I mean, it really is flying. I don't know what's going to happen really, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, in Scotland, again, the numbers were very high yesterday, as they were the day before. I haven't heard today's figures. There's a bit of concern now because in England they've stopped doing all the testing as such, and if you want to be tested now, you've got to pay for it. Whereas in Scotland, our testing is still ongoing and it's still free. So I think it's distorting the figures a little bit. Because everybody's saying percentage-wise in Scotland, oh well, I mean, you're doomed. So that there's a little bit of discrepancy in the figures, I think, there all around.
And Simon, while we're talking about Scotland, I know we have 2 photographs that you took. Would you like to have us show them?
Oh, that was, yesterday I had a 5-hour drive up to Gairloch on the west coast of Scotland. And it's a beautiful little village there. And on the way, I couldn't help but stop at Elendonnan Castle. It's probably one of the most photographed castles in the world. And that's it there. It's an absolutely magnificent place, and it's just got so much atmosphere around it in any kind of weather. And fortunately, just now, we've actually been going through a fantastic spell, beautiful sunshine. I reckon I probably got it back from Boston, or something. It's so unnatural to have this kind of weather. But Eilean Castle there, I mean, it's appeared in so many movies. It's been in 3 Bond movies that I know of, and countless others as well. It's a very, very popular location because you can almost film 360 degrees around it and not even see so much as a telegraph pole. So, it's great, although they do have a visitor centre at the foot of it now, which I think spoiled it a little bit. But the journey up there, you just go through some of the most majestic scenery. Beautiful, beautiful drive up there. Wow. And the light is changing all the time as well. So this was sort of later on in the day, and it was just fabulous. I had to stop and take another shot there. It was just wonderful. So that was it. So I was up there, I had fairly lengthy meeting, but not as long as the journey there, and then again the 5-hour journey back. So I've got jet lag in Scotland.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
I wasn't driving that fast, honest, Gav. But I mean, anybody coming to Scotland, you really do have to, you do Edinburgh. Everybody does Edinburgh. Then head north and west because it becomes really spectacular. And I mean, everybody who watches the likes of Outlander has seen some magnificent scenery, lovely Scottish scenery there. And that's just a little taster of what lies up here. And round every corner, it's very different. And if you were to photograph exactly the same spot, the same scene in the 4 seasons, you would never believe it was all in the same country. It's so dramatically different. Oh dear.
Dramatically different.
I want you to know that on StreamYard, you can only have so many brand items, pictures, and clips, and I'm not getting rid of this one. This one is a keeper. So,
it's like all the bloopers I've done in my live shows before as well. They come back to bite you and haunt you.
No, it's a good picture. I love it.
Yeah. Well, next week the tilt gets on again. I'm off to Barcelona this time. With Seafood Scotland and our wonderful Scottish seafoods. And the kilt will be worn and be getting a good airing yet again. Looking forward to it. And again, hopefully the weather should be good there as well. Just as they say, the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. And Barcelona is a little bit clear of that. So looking forward to that one. And the show actually finishes on the Wednesday evening, so there's a good chance I might be able to do a live broadcast from the show.
Wow. You knew I was going to ask you that, didn't you?
That is so good.
That's fantastic. Thank you. That's exciting. Helena, what else is going on?
I was just about to say, I'm following on with Simon, and there's a couple who found this huge pearl. Worth thousands and thousands, and they were like, it was their 34th wedding anniversary with their favorite restaurant, and I just think maybe that's something that maybe will happen to you in Barcelona, but I don't know quite where this couple were. I have a feeling it's Scotland somewhere. Just a lovely thing to be able to find.
Pearls of wisdom.
Worth a fortune. So yeah, we've got lots of things. I mean, there's so many acts of kindness going on, and I think as well, following in the Marie Curie National Day of Reflection, that just over the last few days, one thing which I thought was quite genius, and I hope that other people that are as successful will use their platform for the same thing. So David Beckham, gorgeous David Beckham, who we all see in the media all the time, he handed over control of his Instagram account to a doctor called Irina in the Ukraine, in Kharkiv. And she looks after lots of pregnant women. And it was fascinating because it was a whole day while she works 24/7 on the front line. It was like a day in the life of, and it's to raise awareness of current conditions for medical staff on the front line. And he has something like 72 million followers, so you can imagine everyone saw that. So and what's genius about it as well is obviously Russian people, they love footballers, they love David Beckham, And although they can't see lots of the social media things, it will filter through. And it was lovely to see. I mean, I think we have a photograph of the lady that while she's working literally for 24 hours was shooting. And I just think it's amazing to see these people amazing. They are so strong. So it's definitely worth a mention. And to talk about acts of kindness. So great. I don't know if anyone saw that. Did you see? Did anyone notice that before? Yeah.
Yeah, can you all see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It was a great idea. It's such a good idea. And if everyone uses their platform with those many followers, it's so powerful, isn't it? Social media is so powerful. It's incredible.
And obviously, it's something as well that, as you say, Russians, it may not have been blocked in Russia either. Such a very good message.
I think it has been blocked, but the thing is, it's amazing. Everyone's got family. Russians have families all over the place, and there is a way. If people are talking, it's just so we just need to do it more and more. Anyway, I just thought it was, I think, quite genius. I think it's great, and just to say as well, obviously, it's to try and highlight money for charity, money to help. So that was great.
Strange enough, with David Beckham as well, there's this wonderful one I came across the other day. And it was a mother with her daughter, and the daughter was probably about 5 or 6 years old. And you could hear the daughter saying to her mother, "Do you think he will stop? Do you think he will stop?" And then David Beckham comes into the background of them, and they've obviously been waiting just to see. And she looks up at her mother again. She says, "Do you think he'll come and talk to me?" And he came over and talked to her. And not only came over and talked to her, he crouched down to her height. He was talking to her about what did she like and what's been happening to her and all that time of day. And it just shows the kindness of people like that. And that's what I call the real personalities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's sorry, just to say, it's David Beckham has his own charity with lots of charities, and it's UNICEF 7 so he's raising money by UNICEF, and that's what it's all to do with. So love that. And also I do know, just talking of Scotland as well, that there's an Edinburgh-based charity, Dnipro Kids, and they have overseen basically an evacuation of about 50 orphans along with their carers. They should be landing in London today. Then they will be travelling to Scotland. I don't think they're going to be going straight to Edinburgh, but I know they will be housed in Edinburgh. So it's been a great, you can imagine, getting it sorted. And actually, what's lovely about it is the children are actually quite excited. They think they're on this amazing adventure. So they've come from Ukraine. They've got to the border of Poland, coming to London today, and will be homed in Edinburgh eventually. So that's also really, we're interested in these acts of kindness and the good news. So it's always lovely to talk about these things.
And I think one of them was a bit disappointed because he was not allowed to have any a wee tasting of the whiskey.
but I think that, but with these children who come across, it was organised by it's either Hibernian themselves, the football club in Scotland, or by supporters. And apparently, the reason why they were so inclined to sort of support people now, refugees in Ukraine, was that they went to Ukraine 5 years ago. And part of the trip was they decided to go for an orphanage to see how they could help with children as well. And so they've had this liaison now with orphanages in Ukraine for the past 5 years. And I think it just goes to show, that the one, I have a lot to do with Scotland. My mother came from Scotland, so I'm half Scottish. And the kindness that Scottish people show is incredible. And their natural nature to actually support and help people who are less fortunate than themselves, again, is so important to have. And I always remember I worked for 7 years in Scotland, and then we came back to London on a Christmas Eve. We were walking our dog around the park when I was married. We were walking our dog around the park, and nobody in London said Merry Christmas. In Scotland, everybody would have done. And so that there's a different connection, I think, between Scottish people who have this positive attitude in life, and then sometimes, unfortunately, the people from England are people from London.
Yeah. You know, you're absolutely right, Ian, because I always get amused if I go on the London Underground, and it causes big upset. Well, people get very, very worried when they see somebody smiling, but eye contact is non-existent on the London Underground. And what gets me is that everybody's eyes are sort of looking down towards the floor. Now, if you looked up, all the adverts and the route maps and everything are all up above you. So why don't they look up there rather than looking down there at people's feet, unless they've got a bit of a shoe fetish? I'm not sure. I mean, if you smile, then, oh, wow. People are desperate to get off the train and you get the whole carriage to yourself. It's a very, very strange, attitude there. Up in Scotland, everybody's friendly with everybody. Well, most of the time, except when they fall out the pub on a Saturday night. But it is a friendly place, Scotland, particularly when again, the West Coast, the West Highlands, and the islands as well. Very, very warm people. I suppose some of the time it's the novelty of actually seeing anybody else as well. When you get to some of our more remote areas, it's quite interesting to see other people. And I mean, people are interesting. So everybody's got a story to tell. We like to hear it.
Yeah, I do. I have to say I disagree completely. I think people in London are incredibly friendly. I find people really engaging, and I do think maybe a few years ago, but definitely over the last couple of years, whether it's COVID, I don't know, I think people have reevaluated their lives. People are wanting simplicity, and people love, people like people. They suddenly realise what's important to them, and it's friends, family, loved ones. It's not all the things that people really want, thought they wanted, all the shoes, all that, well, hey, we all want shoes. It is, and so I find people really engaging and friendly. I don't know what you're doing, Ian and Simon.
They're just naturally attracted to you, Helena, and you're meeting all the Scots.
The thing I found with Helena, and Helena will remember this, many years ago, when we were doing photography a lot more, we got a contract to film babies, and we had to babies for a baby model agency. And we had to photograph we were given 15 minutes per baby, and there was 30 of them for about so many hours. It was absolutely frantic trying to get these babies to smile. I swear to God, every single time Helena would smile at the baby would smile back. She's got one of those faces, I think, that people just smile back to naturally. So probably with me, they don't. But the other strange thing, you were talking, Simon, about the tube. I noticed a sign in the tube yesterday when I was traveling that was sort of saying, if you look at someone strangely in the tube and maybe sort of having some adverse look at a part of their anatomy, for example, you can now be arrested.
What?
And so I suppose a lot of the time, but suddenly my gaze went from above people's faces, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how is that going to actually be implemented? But it's a new rule on the tube. So why on earth they created something like that? I don't know, but so I think there's going to be a lot more feet staring in the future.
We do have a comment. I don't know who it's from, though. Great conversation. Thank you, Facebook user. If you want to type your name in, that would be great. Yeah, you know, it's interesting here in Florida, and I've told you this before, there's a loop that's 2.2 miles that I walk around. And I look up. I like to look at the trees because there's so many different types of trees here. It's amazing. And I'll see someone and people are, you know, you pass people regularly and I'll say, hello, how are you? Nothing. They literally nothing. I'm looking right at them and they say nothing. And I say, I guess you're not great, huh? But why do you think that is, that people just don't want to say hello? Because they're afraid that maybe you're going to go further and actually try to engage in a full-blown conversation?
Well, that's it. They maybe don't like being interviewed on television. They say, oh, no, here she comes again. Where's the microphone? Cameras. Then they start looking at the trees to see if there are cameras on the trees. Yeah.
It's quite interesting. And Dr. Jacalyn, was that recently that happened?
Yes, it happens almost, you know, I can't walk every day because I'm here behind the green screen, but maybe 3 or 4 times a week, there's always someone who doesn't say hello.
Because I was tuned into this article the other day, and they were talking about not going on about it too much, but they were talking about coming out of COVID, and actually lots of people, psychiatrists, professionals, are seeing people who are fearful actually in going out and engaging with people because they've got so used to their little, you know, their little whatever they're doing, where they live, and all their spending time on their own, or just even little families. That actually when they see other people outside, they're fearful. And it's huge. I don't know what the statistics is. So maybe all those people are people from that statistic.
It could be. I know someone like that very well. No names mentioned, but. And the comment was from Sandy Adams, who is our expert correspondent on all things related to travel. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah, thank you. We're interviewing her right after this show.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is at times, you know, people do come up to me at times, but you know, they've seen me on something, and that can be unnerving at times as well. And I was going to meet Helena one day recently, and I'm coming out of a subway station. And I'm walking, and all of a sudden I feel this tug on my arm, and I look round at my head height, and there's nobody there. And then I thought, hey, I can feel another tug on my sleeve, and I looked down, and there was this lady. I mean, she was like a little penguin, this lady, and she'd seen me on television or something and wanted a selfie. You know, and so at times, which obviously I duly did, you know, but sometimes you can be. I get it that it's always nice to say hello back, and I quite agree with you, you know, on these things as well. That if someone says hello to me, I would say hello back. How are you? You know, at the same time. But you know, sometimes I lead such a busy life that sometimes I'm rushing for a tube or something like that, and that's when people want to talk. It's odds law, you know.
Well, we know now the best time to call you is Sunday night, so we've
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Trust me.
The one thing I noticed
you can ring to your heart's content. I'm not going to pick it up between 9 and 10 o'clock.
No, in Boston, I found there that I couldn't walk any more than about 2 paces, and they were wanting photographs with me. It maybe had something to do with the kilt, but they suddenly became very, very popular over there, and they were all wanting to be photographed with this Scotsman wearing the kilt and so on. And the people there were absolutely wonderful. They really were very, very friendly. You know, and I did try to dodge the age-old question about what the Scotsman wears under his coat. You know, you do get that one everywhere you go, you know, and that I know going down the glass-sided escalator into the exhibition hall, I had to be very, very careful indeed. But the people you meet, if you're wearing a kilt, believe me, everybody wants to say hello and have a good look and have a photograph and a selfie taken.
Well, it is an exhibition hall after all, Simon. So.
made a right exhibition of myself there, I can tell you.
I think Scottish things as well. Years ago, when I was married, my former wife used to go to a lot of exhibitions. And we were at an exhibition in America. And this was a health exhibition. And so it was a massive hall, all the knobs, dials and switches, all the lights, everything was very, very flashy. And Leslie, my former wife's boss, was so mean. He gave us $50 to create a presentation for himself. And so all we could do in the end was that a table had been set up for us, and that was it. And so basically, I said to Leslie, the best thing to sell, because it was all doctors, it was all medical people, was to get some paraphernalia from Scotland talking about golfing. And so we put up some background of imagery of Scottish golfing, and we had shortbread actually on the table itself, and we got more visitors than some of these flashy stands. All these doctors wanted to go to Scotland to play golf, and they all loved shortbread as well at the same time. So Scotland won once more.
A question I have for all of you, unless Helena, you have some more news.
No, you answer. In fact, I was just going to say there was this new a new survey that's come out, and it was a survey. It was only 2,000 people. This survey, and I think it was put on by one of our banks. I'm not going to mention the name because I actually don't like the bank at all. But it was the top 50 things that's come out of Great Britain. And what do you think the first three are? What do you think first? So actually, I'll say. So the number one is fish and chips. Number two is roast dinner. And number three is David Attenborough. I mean, who would have thought? Majesty the Queen was number 10. Just as a.
I got 0 right. 0.
I'm delighted to see that the fish was up there at the top anyway. That's a good start.
That's very interesting.
It is. So the question I have for all of you before we close out is, how do you feel about getting attention? Whether it's because of your profession or just in general, when people pay attention to you, do you like it, or does it make you feel awkward? Diann?
I like it, but it also depends on the setting too. But no, I like it. If someone tells me they've read one of my books or something and it means a lot to them, then I just think that's very kind-hearted.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't like attention just to have attention. I rather just be alone and do my thing.
Okay. Thank you.
The quietness in me comes out.
How about you, Helena?
I like intelligent attention. Does that make sense? When somebody wants to engage and actually talk through something which is really important to me. I don't personally like attention for attention's sake. We're very much in this 24/7 world of, everyone wants to be a celebrity. Everyone thinks they're great. Maybe that's a bit of a broad statement, but I just feel that everyone's got special qualities, and when those special qualities shine and it creates this bubble of positivity, I love that. I don't like it. It can be quite fickle, can't it? Let's be honest. And I think some people enjoy that fickle, platform, maybe you can call it, but it's not my bag necessarily.
Thank you, Helen. And actually, I agree with the ladies. So I personally don't like a lot of attention, and but I like to be listened to and heard when I'm helping other people. That's when I like the attention, if it's to help someone else. Now, how about the guys, the gentlemen? How do you feel about getting attention, Simon?
Well, I don't mind. There's the one problem I have about getting attention is getting attention of the waiter in a decent restaurant. That's my big problem with attention.
Simon, we're starting a new comedy show and you're going to be the host. That was funny. And how about you, Ian?
I think if you can use attention to actually support other projects, in other words, lend your name or your face to sort of things that are important, then it works. You know, personal attention, you know, obviously Helen and I, you know, we've done, I think, over 3,000 shows across the world in the past 12, 13 years. So we're quite well known in that way. But I think the biggest value is to create value for other people. And so at times, we probably get more requests to do things. And so what we try to do then is lend our names, if you like, to good, it could be charities, good projects, whatever it might be. And then there's a value because, you know, I mean, I've worked with celebrities all my life. And the biggest celebrities in this world, the Hollywood stars, a lot of them are very shy people behind the scenes. And they much prefer someone who's quiet with them as well, who they can just talk to if they wish to talk to as well. So I don't think, you know, it's part of what we do is that people, we will receive attention. But I think the best way of deflecting that is to actually then have projects that we can talk about, as we talk about on here quite regularly, that will give information or support good projects that will use our whatever status we've got to best effect.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really great answer from everyone. And before we close out, I have one more question. Ian, everyone wants to know, I have to spotlight you again. Which of those books is your favorite?
All of them.
Come on.
The thing I love is I love biographies, autobiographies more than anything. And Helena's always very good. It's come. Oh, by the way, it's coming up to my birthday soon. I'm just giving you a month's warning at the moment. You know, from that point of view, you know, so I'll just remind you each week. But
we'll have the cake ready.
You can remind us when we phone you on Monday night.
I think there's a certain lovely lady here that has a birthday before yours.
My birthday is
well,
Saturday. And Diann, your birthday's what, the 13th?
April 13th.
April 13th.
Okay. There we go.
How about Simon and Helena? When are your birthdays?
Well, I'm June the 12th. I'm a heavenly twin in celestially, I think. There's a word, celestially. Yes.
Mine's 21st of August.
Okay, so you're both in the summer.
So just to finish, because you cut me off, I was just going to put in my plea.
Oh my!
I love biographies. I absolutely adore reading about other people's lives more than anything. And so a lot of the books on there, although some of them are the dummy books, and I admit to being that as well. But quite a lot of them are biographies, and I just if it's a biography, Helena just bought me a book recently, which is on self-development. So I'm going through that at the moment as well. I'm going through my self-developed stage of life right now. I don't know what it means, quite honestly, but it sounds good when I'm talking to you about it. You know, but books-wise, especially anything to do with spy novels or biographies. So that's mainly the collection, as you can see up there.
Well, congratulations on that self-improvement, that journey to continue to learn and look within. I think that's nice gift, Helena.
But we still don't know his birthday.
I remember your birthday from last year.
26th of April.
I wasn't there, but
So I thought Helena said it was disgraceful. No.
26th of April, right? Is that what you said?
26th of April. I thought he said it was disgraceful. It was very good, and obviously quite sad in one way, because one of our great friends, Peter, and others like that, and Philip, have all since passed away. So it's been a bit poignant. But this year I'm gonna, if you're up for it, I can bring you up on FaceTime wherever we have our birthday party. We'll bring you up and include you all as well.
Oh, that would be great. I would love that. It'd be fantastic.
And I'll send you my address for any.
We're going to start camping out of your house and calling every Sunday. We're going to take turns.
Yeah, that's it. We'll queue up and knock on your door on a Sunday night as well, and ring the phone. And...
Maybe we can all watch that show together. Wouldn't that be fun?
So I do a Marilyn Monroe version of Happy Birthday for you.
Oh, Diann, I love it. Should we spotlight you right now?
No. I'll put on the dress and everything.
All right. Well, on that note, folks, we have to close out. Sandy Adams is waiting for us in another studio. So I have your banners. And Ian, I'm going to start with you. I know you want everyone to contact you, but they can contact you on Facebook.
They can contact me on Facebook, and as I say, I'm normally compos mentis most of the working week. If you need to contact me, just please, what my one joy, not between 9 and 10 o'clock on a Sunday night.
I think he's really serious about this, guys. What do you think? He really doesn't want people contacting him on Sundays.
We're all going to email him, right?
Yeah, we'll see how you think about attention then.
Well, Ian, I have a little project for you based on the fact that you shared that you went to lunch and there was this guy from television with 40 million subscribers or something. We got to get him on the show. So he can tell us how we get those subscribers.
I gave him a card, and so we'll see whether he comes back to me or not at the moment. But it'll be interesting. Yeah. As I say, with these people, do you know the thing that the reason I got into journalism in the first place is to meet people like you. I just love meeting people, and what a joy it has been just to sit down and have another chat with you again today.
Aww, the feeling is mutual. Thank you so much. Simon, we have your contact information for people who want to reach out.
Yes, Simon. Yes, that's me. Yes, I've got an email address. That's right. MacDonaldSimon@ymail.com, and it's not a typo error, spelling mistake. It is the letter ymail.com. I think it's part of Yahoo or something like that. So
Yahoo Mail.
Yeah, there we are. And I'm on Facebook as well, and all the usual platforms. And send a carrier pigeon. That's usually quite an effective way as well. Quite partial to a bit of pigeon.
Well, we want to get you back on the United Kitchen, so I'm going to talk to you about that.
Oh, here we go again.
There we go. I'm very persistent. Helena.
You can contact me via, it seems it's hcpresenter@gmail.com, but my full name, Helena, Helena, surname Chard, via LinkedIn or Instagram would be good.
Thank you so much. This is the hardest part of my job, is making sure I get everyone's contact information correct. Diann.
Sure, everyone can reach me at DiannFloydBoehm.com, DiannFloyd, B as in boy, OEHM.com. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. All right. And if anybody wants to contact me, all you have to do is go to YouTube, and you can go to our channel, USA Global TV, because that's where I am most of the time. And if I'm not there, I'm thinking about being there. Okay, thank you again for being here, folks. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you next week at the same time, same place, right, everyone?
Yep.
Great. Enjoy
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.